Hello, today I want to talk about the truth about pivoting. The truth about pivoting, in order to pivot, we must be willing to adapt. We must be willing to develop new strategies. We must be willing to change the way we do things completely. The truth about pivoting is you must be willing to change. That's the operative word. That's the main key factor. We must be willing to change. You cannot do the same thing expecting different results. That's completely insane. Insane. It's called insanity. Doing the same thing expecting different results. The truth about pivoting is we must be willing to change, must be willing to adapt, must be willing to change the way we do things, must be willing to go in a different direction, completely change, do a whole, turnaround, not just, doing the same thing you've been doing for years and years and years, thinking that you're going to ultimately become successful in the thing that you're trying to, pursue. So we must be willing to change in our life, change in our lifestyle, be willing to change in our business, be willing to change in our relationships. You can't be just stuck and set in your ways, as they would say. The older people would say we just set in our ways. No, we have to be willing to change. In order, you must assess what you've been doing over and over and over, and then try it a new way, because sometimes a new way is a better way. It's sometimes it's just a small little tweak. You could just take a little thing and do it different to get a maximum result. So that is what I want to talk about today. The truth about pivoting is you cannot stay the same. You must be willing to change, because as you can see, the world is changing every 24 months, every 12 to 18 months. The world is constantly changing. So with the world being constantly changing and we're getting new information by the, faster than the speed of lighting, we must be willing to tweak certain things. And I also wanted to say, you must develop new strategies. Sit down and strategize how I'm gonna go at this thing. Because believe me, if you just sit with God a little while, He gonna give you the answer. He gonna let you know what you're doing wrong, and He gonna let you know how to go about doing it right. So you must sit with God. And ultimately, when you're willing to pivot, it reaps transformative potential. Like you have a whole new dynamic of doing things, and it could transform your whole lifestyle. You have a potential to change and to get maximum results when you're willing to pivot. And the truth about pivoting also is you must embrace change. Don't look at change as a bad thing. Look at change as a good thing. Don't get older and we're supposed to get older and wiser, but don't get older and settle. Like, I've been doing this 10 years. This the way I do it. This just the way I am. You have to develop a different mindset, a different strategies, a different mindset. Because if you just sit there and want to operate in how you've been 10 years ago, then how you expect to grow like that? You can't grow like that. A flower is constantly growing. A caterpillar is a perfect example. He started as a little worm, a little slimy worm, and then he transformed into this beautiful butterfly. But what if he just say, oh no, I've always been a caterpillar. I'm not willing to change. I'm not going in a cocoon. I don't want to change. Then you would never see the beautiful butterfly that he had become. And I did a video on another video I did on a topic about who are you becoming while you're waiting. We have to be willing to transform, and we transform not by not being conformed of this world, but by renewing of our minds. So we have to let God help us with that, and we have to ask Him for help. Lord, I don't know how to change. I know I need to change. I know I don't like where I'm at. I know I don't desire to stay stuck, but Lord, show me how to change. Help me be willing to change. Help me have a better outlook. Help me have a better mindset about what I'm supposed to be doing, and helping me get there. And also make strategic shifts in your life, and also in your business. You have to be strategic about it, because the devil don't want you to change. He wants you to stay stuck so he could continue beating you upside your head and dragging you up and down the street. So he don't want you to be willing to embrace change. So we have to be strategic about it. Say, okay, I desire to say lose weight. So I'm gonna do so many steps a day. I'm gonna walk up the steps. I'm gonna walk around the neighborhood. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna lift weights. I'm gonna do so many reps of this, a day. I'm gonna eat a salad every day. I'm gonna eat fruit, incorporate more fruit. drink more smoothies, eat less carbs, cut out the soda, cut out the sugar, cut out the salt. You have to be strategic. I'm just giving you some examples of how you got to be so strategic. Okay, I want to save money. I'm gonna set aside this much a week to save, and then once I get to my big goal on saving, I'm gonna reinvest that money, because money sitting ain't gonna do you no good. You got to put your money to work. So as the rich people do, you can't just let it sit. So once you build up enough money to invest, then you could take that and invest and ultimately multiply your money. And when you do that, it leads to unexpected opportunities and success. You never know who's watching you when you continue to want to be consistent. And you can help other people get to their goals because they look at you and see that, okay, she's been consistent. I can do the same thing. And it's not easy, y'all, but it's definitely a mindset. You got to be willing to renew your mind. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And the more you do that, repetition, 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 you're going to change your thought pattern. And that's why I come on these videos, just to kind of give you more insight. And I'm constantly coming on to ultimately not just help you, but I'm helping myself by being consistent, by steady having a different way of doing things, a different mindset. Instead of just lounging around on this Saturday and it's gloomy outside, I could have easily just said, I'm going to just sit in the bed and relax, stroll on my phone, watch TV, read something, a couple of books or whatever. I could have just been stagnant and been like, I don't want to do it. So the more I'm coming on here is not just helping you all. I'm praying it's helping you, but I ultimately am helping myself to develop more strategic habits on how to pivot. Like, for example, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row on my video, I didn't do it in the morning. I had some other obligations I had to take care of, so I decided to do it the evening. So what if I would have just said, well, I ain't gonna do it today because I ain't do it this morning like I was supposed to. Now I ain't gonna even worry about it. I had to pivot. I had to say, okay, I had some obligations this morning, so before I get relaxed, I gotta do this video now at night or in the evening. Sometimes you have to change your schedule. You can't be just willing to do the same thing all the time, the same way. Oh no, I always go this way to work. I always wear this color. I always you know, cook the same food, cook the same meal at the same time. We gotta eat at the same time. God bless you on that, because I mean everything ain't gonna always go exactly the way it's planned. God did that by design because He wants us to be willing to shift. Basically, pivoting. The truth about pivoting is actually shifting. It's shifting your mindset. It's shifting the skill set. It's shifting the way you're willing to do things. It's shifting change. It's embracing change. So it's easy to stay stuck, but it's a challenge to sometimes change, but it's necessary. Because as we know, one thing is certain: life is definitely certain. Life is definitely gonna change. It's not gonna stay the same. You're not gonna always be the same age. We're not gonna always be the same weight. You may not always stay in the same home. You may not always drive the same car. You may not always have the same people around you. You may have changed your circle. Life is constantly changing, and as it's changing, we know technology is changing by the fastest of speed of lightning. So we went from the typewriters to the big old computers. Now we got laptops, we got tablets, we got little phones. Phone is basically a little computer. So we got all that. It has evolved over time, and we had to be willing to move with time. What if we was just say a secretary? I'm not using no computer. I've always used the typewriter. I'm not willing to use the computer. I'm going to use the typewriter because that's what I've always been willing to do. Her job would no longer be there, because guess what? The business is not going to just stick around with a slow typewriter. They're going to, you know, invest in computers. So that person either got to roll with that computer, or they're going to have to let her go or him go, because things are changing. We can't stay the same. That's just by design, by God's design. The truth about pivoting is we must embrace change. We must be willing to change. And also, I had some other notes. We got to not just change, but we got to completely change the way we do things in order sometimes to see better results. And we got to adapt to change. We got to develop strategies. We have to change the way we completely do things. We have to do that by adjusting. adjusting some things, modifying some things. Okay, let me carve out sometimes in my schedule to actually read a couple of scriptures of the Bible. That means I may have to get up a little early. If I got to be at work for 8, if you have a commute, say you got to leave your house for 7 to get there for 8, you might have to get up for 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, according to how long it take you to get dressed to read those couple of scriptures. So that's just some examples I'm giving on how you must. The truth about pivoting. The truth about pivoting is it don't stay the same. You got to be willing to modify some things. Okay, I know I got to get up for 5 in the morning because I choose to read 2 scriptures, or a couple of scriptures, or several scriptures of the Bible. So I got to get up early. So what that mean? I got to go to bed late. So I'm gonna say I got to go to bed early. I'm sorry. I got to go to bed early. I can't stay up late. Got to go to bed early because I desire to get up for 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, so I have time enough to get in the presence of God, read my couple of scriptures, get ready for work, or get ready to start my day with my business. Things of that nature is we have to be willing to adapt and have to be willing to pivot. And also we have to be willing to adjust and modify our schedule. Sometimes we can't just, do things the way we always done it and expect everything to go okay. Well, I used to make such and such ABC amount of money. Say I used to make $10,000 a month in my business. Now I've seemed like I've capped. Like I can't go past that $10,000 mark a month. What that mean? I may have to hire some more coaches, some more mentor business coaches. I may have to go to somebody that's making $100,000 a month. Okay, what can you show me to help me not cap, not be at a ceiling of 10,000 a month? How do you make 100,000 a month? I may have to pay that person to teach me how, because knowledge ain't knowledge. Sometimes it's free, most times it's free. God wisdom is free, but then how bad do you want it? You got to pay that person for their knowledge. They're not going to just sit there, because the reason why people charge is they want to pay you to pay attention. They want you to pay attention, because guess what? If I drop that knowledge on you for free, you're not going to value that knowledge like you're going to value if I'm charging you $10,000 an hour, or if I'm charging you $1,000 an hour. You're going to pay attention. So you pay to pay attention. That's why they call it pay attention, because you're paying to pay attention. So that's why you might look at that person and that's a shame. Why they charging so much? Because they know if I get this away for a little of nothing or nothing, you're not going to value that as much as you're going to value you paying $1,000 an hour. Oh yes, babe, I better have my notepad. I better have my pen. I better be focused. I better be having my questions prepared before I meet with this person, because I know I just got $1,000 to get this person for an hour. I don't have no extra money to be giving them, more than $1,000 an hour. So guess what? You're going to focus and you're going to pay attention. You're going to milk that hour. You're going to treat that hour like it's the most powerful hour of your life, like your life depends on it, because you paid $1,000 for that person's time. So I got my pen, I got my pad, I got my notebook. I might even have them on recording so I could, recap this conversation. I'm going to be videoing it so I could go back and study the nuggets that this person gave me, make sure I didn't miss nothing. You're gonna definitely be prepared. You're going to have your questions on deck. Okay, let me write all these questions out and I want these answers. I'm going to be in a document, all this stuff. So later on I could go back, because I know I ain't going to be able to catch everything. But I want to make sure the stuff I didn't catch that fell by the wayside, I want to make sure I can recap that later on to go incorporate those things and put that into motion. So that's how we got to think about it. We got to be willing to pivot in anything, because what have worked yesterday may not be working today. Think about it. What you did 10 years ago, that's not relevant in the 2025. What you did in 15, what you did in 2020 may not be what it's all about in 25. So you have to be willing to pivot. You have to be willing to change. You have to embrace change. You have to adapt change. The truth about pivoting is you got to be willing to move. You can't be stuck in your ways. You can't be stubborn. You have to say, you know what, man, I know this not working. I'm at a ceiling. I can't even cap. I've been capped. It's like I'm just stuck. So I'm willing to go over on the other side. So now I need new knowledge. I need new information. I need to be willing to read more. I need to be willing to write more. I need to be willing to study more. I need to be willing to invest more, pay more of my money to find these millionaire mentors. If I desire to make millions, I gotta be willing to pay for it. You gotta pay to play, babe. You gotta pay to play, and it costs to be the boss. So the truth about pivoting is you have to continue to be willing to change, continue to be willing to evolve, continue to be willing to change your mindset. Continue to be willing to strategize. Let me figure out how I can adapt the habits of a millionaire. That part. He's a multi-millionaire. She's a multi-millionaire. Am I willing to adapt? Am I willing to pivot and do the things that they done to continue? Because you can make a million one time, but can you hold on to that million? Can you multiply that million and make it multi-millions? Can you sustain that wealth? Can you do that? It takes a lot of strategizing. It takes a lot of mental strength. Mental strength. The truth about pivoting is I have to be willing to invest in the type of people and the type of what should I say, programs and books and seminars in different arenas. Am I willing to do all of that? Am I willing to do all of that? You got to ask yourself. That's the truth. That's the hardcore truth about pivoting. I must be willing to turn around. Basically, when they playing basketball and they pivot, they got to stop. That's a good one. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Sometimes you got to stop in your track to pivot. It's not even about moving forward. It's not even about um, doing things a different way. I just got to stop. Let me just stop and think. Let me just stop and strategize. Let me just slow down and listen to what the Holy Spirit is trying to tell me. I've been ripping and running and chasing a bag and this and that and the third. And what one thing we need to know is God don't desire that we chase anything. God said all he wants you to do is chase him. Once you chase him, he gonna be the deciding factor. When I chase God, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Don't forget about his righteousness. And all these things will be added unto us. So Matthew 6:33 is very powerful for pivoting. We must see God first. And once we see God first, all these things gonna be added unto us. So that is what we gotta do. We only need to chase Jesus, and everything else that we desire is gonna fall in our lap. He gonna cause men to give unto our bosom. So good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give unto our bosom. Give and it shall be given. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So the more you give out, the more it's gonna multiply. The more I pour out, the more it's gonna multiply. The more I'm pouring out this what God has given me, the more He gonna give me back. You see how that works? The more knowledge I'm giving to the masses, the more God gonna give me to pour back out. So that's just law. That's just law. Give and it shall be given. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. So the more knowledge you give out, the more God gonna give you that back multiplied. The more money you give out, the more God gonna give you that back multiplied. The more peace you give out, and so on and so forth, God gonna give you the peace multiplied. So that is what I want to come on here and say. The truth about pivoting is all about changing, y'all, recapping, doing things a different way, willing to embrace change, willing to adapt to new way of thinking, new way of doing things, new way of strategizing, putting strategic plans in place on your lifestyle and your business in order to move to the next level. Investing, if you're willing to invest, you can get somebody to help you learn how to pivot. You got to look at your life and say, do I like where I'm at? No, I don't like where I'm at. So, okay, Anitra, okay, whatever your name is, what are you willing to do to change that? Am I willing to pivot? And the truth about pivoting is, am I willing to accept the truth about pivoting? Am I willing to accept the truth about pivoting? Because I have to be willing to accept that. I got to be willing to accept that I must change. I must adapt to the changes. I must be willing to modify some things in my life in order to pivot. I must be willing to invest so somebody could teach me and show me how, so I can just not stay stuck, so I can take my life to the next level, take my business to the next level. I must be willing to network, do different things, because I vowed this year to network more, network more with more women that's doing the things that I want to do, or that doing things that I desire to do, want to do, and just to like feed off them and glean off them to get a develop a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things. Because in my 50 years, I have to realize that the way I've been doing things, there's new ways of doing them. So not to say they have been wrong. Some things have been wrong. Most things have been right. But you still got to be willing to pivot and the truth and learn the truth about pivoting, um, by embracing new surroundings, new developments, new people, just to kind of give you another way of looking at it. So that is the word I have on today, and just ponder on that. Ponder on that. What can I do? What truths can I learn about pivoting? The truth about pivoting, am I willing to really sit with myself and really understand that I must change in order to make my situation better? So that is what I have on today, you guys. Just a recap, we must be willing to strategically strategize, adapt, modify our life, invest, and ultimately change, make a whole change, a whole turnaround, complete change. Go in a different direction. Do not go the way you've been going, but willing to go in a whole different direction. So that is what I want to talk about, the truth about pivoting. That has been the word on today. And you guys be blessed. And I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I believe this marks the year that I have been consistently coming on weekly with videos. So I have definitely learned the truth about pivoting by making these videos consistently and keeping it in stride even when I didn't feel like it. So you guys be blessed, and I am excited for myself. I'm excited for you most of all, when you learn the truth about pivoting, and just excited to see where it will take you. You guys be blessed. Have a fantastic day. Relax yourself. Take it easy and just sit down with yourself and think about ways that you can learn the truth about pivoting. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Hit the thumbs up button. If you like my video, please subscribe to AHEARTJOHNSON and tell a friend. Tell a friend. Don't hold all this good news to yourself. Be willing to share and tell a friend. Like my video, subscribe and share to add HEARTJOHNSON. Until next time, you guys be blessed and remember to learn the truth about pivoting. In Jesus' name.